What is up, guys? Ivan here with getivan.com, and in this video we will be going over the all calls and list calls tabs in my SignalWire dashboard for Google Sheets and Parabola. So the all call tab and list call tab are purely for static reference information. There might be a couple of things that will be updated for some of this stuff in the future, and I will try to put a note of that in the help. If that's the case, I might even add a different tab that's related to phone call recordings in the future, so keep your eye out for that. For now, it's mostly just for reference and for being able to get a bird's eye view on the activities of phone numbers in your account. So I'm not going to go over all of the reference information. You can go over that yourself and look at pricing info and timestamps and inbound, outbound, all that stuff. The main point of interest for the all calls section is the page size modifier. So this is a really important section because I was concerned for a bit that adding this area would make it way too cumbersome on the Parabola row count. But because I figured out how to do error handling and filtering and all this business for this section, you don't have to worry about the number of calls being imported being a problem on your credits for your Parabola account. When this is blank, this area will not be run. It will not process. But if you want this to run, you just have to indicate a number on the page size. So if you were to put the number 50, then you would be saying, I want to return the most recent 50 calls of all time. These are all calls, the most recent 50 calls. You could say 500. You could say 10 calls. It's just whatever value you want to do. How many do we have here? Looks like about 7. So if you did this number though will directly correlate to the number of rows being processed by Parabola when you do the import. Okay, this is an import. As you can see, it's yellow tab. So let's do, for the sake, there's 7 here. Let's do 15, and let's see. I've done a number. These are all tests, and this is not a live account yet. These are just tests. Everything that you've seen in these videos so far is just for testing purposes and debugging. Okay, so let's do 15, and then let's go. Let's run my flow hook, and this should disappear and then repopulate with 15. And there it is, about 15 calls. Timestamps and prices and all kinds of things. Okay, so very simple, right? Let's go to the list calls section. Also has a page size, but the difference with this tab is that you can list calls that have been sent to a specific number, and the main purpose is to look at calls that are inbound to one of your SignalWire numbers. Now there are other parameters that you could set for these kinds of tabs if you wanted to go in Parabola and configure something special. But I kept it as simple as I could because the more that you add to the string, the more complex it requires all of those fields. If you add them, it requires them. And so it becomes too specific. So if you wanted to add something else, you probably would want to add a different tab. And then you could just process something more specific in that other tab. But for now, I've just included page size, so we'll say 15 again. I don't know how many's on here, like 50 or maybe 40 numbers on 40 calls to this particular number. Now, when you put the calls to, it has to be in E164 format, just like I talked about in the by number section. So you can just, I think you can scroll over. It should be noted here. Oh, here it is, API 2. So just grab this, come over here, double click, and then put the apostrophe. Now you might need to do, if you wanted to do it in bulk, that might, if you had a lot of numbers, like you wanted to say, for example, you could say, I want 15 numbers for this number. I want 15 numbers for this other number. I want 15 numbers for this number, 15 most recent calls for this number. So that's how that works. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if I've tested it to that specific degree. Calls from to, I don't have any other calls. So that would be something to test. Pretty sure it works that way though. Every value enter into a row will return that information subsequently, okay? Anyways, let's go ahead and tested that one. Let's go ahead and run this one. The last 15 calls to this particular number. And there it is. So we've got all that relevant information, but to a specific number. And in particular, you could kind of see, okay, here's how long a particular phone call may have lasted, and geez, that was a long call. I wonder why. And it might be useful for debugging purposes. You could say, okay, why was this call 7 minutes? That's so, or longer than that, a little bit longer than that. Why was this call so long? It cost me more money. Maybe in my XML docs, I need to indicate that a call needs to forcibly hang up after a certain period of time or something like that to protect yourself from these unusual charges. So that might be something I need to look into, and so on and so forth. So that's pretty much it. Really simple. Just set your page size and your calls too, and you're good to go. I will catch you in the next video. Thanks. Bye-bye.